On the GMM program, Pra warned that sometimes before August 2025, most likely in June or July, one of Thailand's provinces, starting with the letter K, would suffer from a disaster caused by water, but it would not be from rain. She emphasized that the source would be a disturbance from the sea or land, like a tsunami, a disaster triggered by an underwater earthquake. The word tsunami sent a shiver. It immediately brought back the memories of the devastating 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, which had killed hundreds of thousands across the region. On Woody's live show, she took things a step further, and this time her prophecy had a global scale. She claimed that a massive volcanic eruption was coming, one that would affect places popular with Thai tourists. There would be fatalities among travelers. She hinted at two locations: sashimi, which is a metaphor for countries known for eating raw fish, like Japan, and second, Indonesia. She described these volcanoes as sleeping giants beneath the ocean, part of a long chain of undersea volcanoes that were about to awaken. She said it would start with one or two small eruptions and then others would follow, creating a domino effect that would eventually trigger a tsunami. The word sashimi immediately made viewers think of Japan's Mount Fuji. Japan is world famous for its raw seafood, and it's one of the most beloved destinations for Thai tourists. It turns out that both Japan and Indonesia sit on the Pacific Ring of Fire, the world's most active volcanic and earthquake zone, stretching over 40,000 kilometers around the Pacific Ocean. It includes parts of North and South America, Asia, Oceania. This fiery belt contains about 75% of the world's active volcanoes and about 90% of the world's earthquakes. What many don't realize is that underwater volcanoes make up a huge portion of this ring, and they remain largely unexplored. For example, Japan has 111 active volcanoes, but only 10 have been detected underwater. Indonesia has around 130 active volcanoes, but only 2 underwater volcanoes have been mapped so far. In truth, scientists estimate that over 99% of the undersea volcanic activity remains unknown. The Pacific Ocean floor is full of dangerous geological formations. The seafloor between Indonesia and Japan is especially complex, containing the Mariana Trench, the Philippine Trench, and countless underwater volcanoes nearby. The bottom line? There are far more volcanoes beneath the sea than on land. And if they erupt in a chain reaction, just as Pra has predicted, it wouldn't be a disaster for just one country. It would be a catastrophe for the entire world. Human history holds very little data about undersea volcanic eruptions. The most recent major incident was the 2022 eruption in Tonga. That single underwater blast triggered a tsunami that reached shores across the Pacific, blanketed parts of Tonga in volcanic ash, and cut off communications for days. And that was just one eruption. What if multiple volcanoes across the Pacific Ring of Fire erupted at once? We don't know, but AI simulations suggest 4 possible scenarios. 1. Massive undersea eruptions could trigger seafloor landslides, setting off tsunamis. These waves could strike Pacific coastlines, places like Japan, Chile, and the US West Coast, with devastating force. 2. The eruptions would release lava, volcanic ash, and toxic gases into the ocean. This would change the chemistry of seawater, disrupting marine ecosystems and possibly killing off sea life across vast regions. 3. Volcanic gases entering the atmosphere could form aerosols, particles that block sunlight leading to a sudden drop in global temperatures. A chain of eruptions could cause something similar to a volcanic winter. 4. The heat from eruptions could cause the ocean to boil in places, releasing gas bubbles and lightweight volcanic rock. Vast floating fields of this material could form. These reactions might release even more gas and energy into the sea, an unpredictable cascade. But the most terrifying threat is still the tsunami. Everyone still remembers the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, triggered by a massive magnitude 9+ earthquake off the coast of Sumatra. The seafloor shifted over 1,200 kilometers, with vertical displacement reaching 10 to 15 meters. The tsunami waves raced across the ocean at 700 to 800 kilometers an hour. In some regions, the wave height reached 10 to 30 meters. In just 15 minutes, Banda Aceh in Indonesia was hit. Within hours, the waves slammed into Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Maldives, and eventually reached East Africa. Entire cities were leveled. Banda Aceh was drowned. In some places, the waves surged for several kilometers inland, leaving behind only mud and ruins. The death toll? Around 280,000 lives lost, with hundreds of thousands more injured or displaced. Now, imagine that scenario, but far worse. If multiple undersea volcanoes across the Pacific Ring of Fire erupted in quick succession, just as Mor Pra predicted, the resulting tsunami could be many times more destructive than the one in 2004. It would indeed be a global catastrophe, perhaps even humanity's darkest hour. And the most unnerving part? Science and scientists can't see it coming. Most underwater volcanic systems are unmonitored, unmapped, and poorly understood.